The most terrifying threats are often the ones you cannot prove exist. The Taos Hum is the acoustic ghost of the Cold War, a relentless vibrating drone that is a verifiable physical signal, yet only a select few can detect it, leaving them trapped in a cycle of anxiety and physical pain. Project Sonic Boom is the intelligence designation. This file is a study in acoustic warfare and geophysical camouflage. We must determine if this persistent VLF signal is a massive natural geological anomaly or a highly controlled covert military broadcast hidden beneath the stunning facade of the New Mexico desert. Today, using highly specific declassified intelligence memos filed under NSA RDP60, acoustic VLF, and CIA RPD60 series, we undertake the complete investigation into Project Sonic Boom. While similar hums have been reported globally, Bristol, Kokomo, Vancouver, the Taos hum quickly distinguished itself. Unlike others that often trace back to localized industrial noise or power grid harmonics, the Taos hum was consistently purely environmental, yet acoustically stable. The demographic breakdown was also unusual. Sensitive subjects were often local residents who had just recently become afflicted, suggesting a change in the source's power or frequency, not just a lifetime of ear damage. An NSA acoustic comparative analysis identified the distinctiveness. Here's a quote from them from this 1973 analysis. Quote, "The Taos acoustic anomaly exhibits a signal profile distinct from the common industrial or urban VLF noise sources documented globally. The persistence and lack of correlation to peak industrial power cycles strongly suggest a non-terrestrial, dedicated power source or a large-scale geological resonance effect." End quote. To sustain a stable VLF tone between 30 and 80 Hz over the wide Taos basin requires massive constant electrical power. Unlike AM or FM radio waves, VLF waves are extremely long and require huge amounts of energy to broadcast effectively. Analysts had to assess the environmental footprint. If the source was artificial, it would require a hidden power plant or a constant dedicated feed from the regional power grid. The lack of a visible source only amplified the covert signal hypothesis. A CIA power requirement assessment detailed the scale of the source in 1975. It says, and I quote, "To sustain the observed frequency, stability, and amplitude across the geographic zone, the source demands a dedicated multi-megawatt power infrastructure. The absence of this infrastructure in public domain records mandates the classification of the source as an unauthorized, classified energy asset." The USGS attempted to correlate the hum's intensity with microseismic activity within the Rio Grande Rift. The assumption was that if tectonic plates caused the sound, the hums would spike or fluctuate during small earthquakes. The correlation failed. The hum remained persistently stable, independent of local seismic events. This heavily discounted the pure natural resonance theory and swung the intelligence community back towards the engineered signal hypothesis. Furthermore, analysts struggled to explain the acoustic attenuation, why the sound was so localized and did not dissipate across the vast open desert. A USGS seismic correlation failure report was definitive in 1976. It reads, and I quote, "Continuous acoustic monitoring failed to establish statistical correlation between the Taos anomaly, 30 to 80 Hz, and microseismic events in the Rio Grande Rift. The persistent high Q factor of the hum, independent of tectonic stress, significantly reduces the probability of a purely natural geophysical source." End quote. During the Cold War, the NSA was heavily invested in the theory that the hum was a foreign adversary asset. The Soviet Union and others were known to operate massive, powerful radio networks like the infamous Russian woodpecker over-the-horizon radar that emitted disruptive VLF signals. The Taos hum could be a massive, deep Earth-penetrating signal broadcast by a foreign power utilizing the remote U.S. geology as a passive giant antenna to communicate with global assets, or perhaps to deliberately cause neurological interference within a U.S. population center. An NSA counterintelligence memo from 1978 detailed the foreign threat, saying, quote, The stability and power profile align with known Soviet deep penetration VLF asset requirements. We cannot discount the possibility of a foreign information warfare asset utilizing the Taos Rift for covert high-power communication or for non-lethal psychoacoustic harassment of a U.S. civilian population. End quote. The physiological effects, anxiety, nausea, and disorientation, were not incidental. They were intrinsic to the signal. The hum's frequency band is known to resonate with the human body's tissues and fluids, particularly in the inner ear and the cranium. The NSA classified the hum as a psychoacoustic stressor, a physical signal capable of causing psychological distress, making it a potential information warfare tool. The few sensitive people were simply the canaries in the acoustic coal mine. A CIA psychological warfare assessment confirmed the signal's potential in 1981. It reads, persistent low-frequency acoustic energy in the 30 to 80 hertz band, regardless of audibility, can induce vestibular and neurological stress response, anxiety, sleep deprivation due to somatic resonance. The hum is classified as a physical psychoacoustic stressor, even for non-auditory subjects. End quote. The operational conclusion of Project Sonic Boom was not discovery but containment. The NSA and CIA could not definitively prove the source without admitting to either a massive uncontained geological threat or a sensitive covert military operation, domestic or foreign. The political risk was too high. The final operational strategy was to dismiss the phenomenon entirely. The official narrative shifted to mass sociogenic illness or localized harmless tinnitus, a medical dismissal designed to close the public file and eliminate the possibility of lawsuits or public panic. An internal NSA directive noted the political imperative in 1983, saying, and I quote, public disclosure of the classified VLF findings carries an uncontainable political risk regarding defense infrastructure espionage or public health liability due to neurological stress. All official public statements must revert to the narrative of mass sociogenic illness or isolated, clinically untraceable tinnitus. End quote. Project Sonic Boom revealed the constant secret battle waged beneath our feet. The Taos Hum is a reminder that the world is filled with silent frequencies, and the most dangerous threats are the ones the government cannot or will not explain. The final acoustic assessment from 1980 by the CIA is this: the persistent acoustic phenomenon in the Taos region is definitely classified as non-conventional acoustic stressor. While the potential for natural tectonic resonance is high, the stability and narrow frequency band strongly suggest an engineered VLF broadcast source, utilizing the region's unique geology for covert global transmission. End quote. We've covered the acoustic terror of the hidden frequency. Now we dive into a chilling and massive cryptid that blurs the lines between ancient folklore and modern aviation threats, a predator from the sky capable of carrying off prey. Next, we're pivoting to a disturbing file on a massive non-conventional avian signatures. Project Skyfall, the FAA and DIA analysis of the Thunderbird sightings, focusing on the Lawndale, Illinois encounter. We will analyze the intelligence reports of the persistent sightings of huge petrodactyl-like creatures with wingspans exceeding 15 feet, often linked to livestock mutilations and UAP activity. We'll use the FAA DIA Aviation Cryptid Memos, the DIA RDP60 Aviation Cryptid Series, and the CIA's RDP60 UAP avian documents to assess the core question: is the Thunderbird a real surviving megaraptor species, a relic of an era that is no longer here, or are the sightings a powerful cover for a covert biowarfare drone prototype, a massive remote-controlled aircraft designed for payload delivery or high-altitude surveillance? The documented truth of Sonic Boom proves the government can hide massive projects in plain sight. And if this deep dive into the archives has captured your focus, your support is vital as we investigate the uncontainable threats from the sky. I'll see you in the archives.